I wasn't looking for love when this story began, and that's the truth I need you to understand before anything else sinks in, because when love finally showed up, it didn't knock politely, it didn't ask permission, and it didn't care how numb I had trained myself to be. I was 27, living in a small apartment on the west side of Chicago, the kind with creaky floors, a heater that hissed like it was tired of trying, and windows that never fully shut out the winter. Every morning, I walked 3 blocks to a corner coffee shop, ordered the same black coffee, tipped the same $2, and pretended routine meant stability instead of survival. I'm telling you this like I'm talking to you across a table because that's how it feels now, like a confession you didn't ask for, but somehow stayed to hear. Back then, my life was quiet in a way that wasn't peaceful. Quiet like a paused song you never bother to unpause. I had learned how to smile without meaning it, how to laugh without feeling it, how to date without hoping. If you had asked me what I wanted, I would have said nothing, because wanting had already taken enough from me. 2 years earlier, I had loved someone who promised forever and left me with silence instead. Not a dramatic goodbye, not a screaming fight, just unanswered texts and a door that never reopened. That kind of ending doesn't break you loudly. It hollows you out slowly, and I let it. So I stopped believing in sparks and signs and fate, and I focused on paying rent and showing up to my marketing job downtown and pretending that was enough. Most nights, I came home, kicked off my boots, ate cereal for dinner, and watched late-night reruns until sleep finally claimed me. I wasn't sad all the time, which almost made it worse. I felt neutral, like my heart had chosen a standby mode and refused to reboot. Then one Friday night in early December, everything tilted. It was snowing the heavy kind, the kind that blurs streetlights and makes the city feel smaller. I had stayed late at work finishing a pitch deck no one would thank me for, and by the time I stepped outside, the cold slapped sense into my face. I remember thinking I should have called an Uber, but instead I walked, hands buried in my coat pockets, head down, breath fogging the air. Halfway home, I ducked into a neighborhood bar I'd passed 100 times, but never entered. Not because I wanted a drink, but because my phone was dead and my fingers were numb and I needed somewhere warm. The place smelled like old wood and fries, and a game played quietly on a TV no one was watching. I took a seat at the bar, ordered whiskey I didn't usually drink, and stared at my reflection in the mirror behind the bottles. That's when he sat 2 stools away. I didn't notice him at first, and that matters. He wasn't loud, wasn't trying to be seen, just a guy in a dark jacket shaking snow off his hair like the weather had personally offended him. When he spoke, it was to the bartender, something casual about the roads being a mess. His voice was warm, steady, the kind that didn't rush. I kept my eyes on my glass because I wasn't there for conversation, and I didn't want to be known. A few minutes passed in silence, comfortable but charged in a way I didn't yet recognize. Then he glanced over and said, "Long week?" It wasn't a pickup line, just an observation, and somehow that made it harder to ignore. I shrugged and said, "Aren't they all?" He smiled, not wide, not forced, just enough to acknowledge the shared exhaustion. "I'm Ryan," he said, like names were still worth exchanging. "Emily?" I replied, surprising myself with how easily it came out. We didn't talk about big things at first. We talked about snowstorms and bad bosses and how Chicago winters build character whether you want them to or not. I told him I worked in marketing. He told me he taught history at a public high school on the South Side. There was something grounding about him, like he was fully present, like he wasn't checking his phone for something better. When I laughed, really laughed, it startled me. I hadn't realized how long it had been since my chest felt that light. An hour passed without either of us noticing, and when I finally looked at the clock, panic flickered through me. I wasn't supposed to feel this comfortable with a stranger. I wasn't supposed to want to stay. I paid my tab, slid on my gloves, and said, "I should go." Ryan nodded, respectful, no pressure in his eyes, and said, "Yeah, me too." Outside, the snow had slowed, the city hushed under white. We stood there awkwardly, two people at the edge of something neither of us named. "Well," I said, already stepping back, "nice meeting you?" He hesitated, then said, "Can I walk you?" I almost said no out of habit, out of self-protection, but the word yes slipped out instead. We walked side by side, boots crunching, breath visible, shoulders almost touching. No dramatic moment, no movie music, just quiet companionship that felt unexpectedly safe. At my building, I stopped and turned to him. "This is me," I said. He smiled again and said, "I'm glad I ran into you, Emily." Something in his tone lingered with me as I climbed the stairs, as if a door I'd sealed shut had shifted just enough to let light in. That night, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, I realized something terrifying. I wanted to see him again. I wish I could tell you I fought that feeling, that I stayed guarded and distant and smart, but the truth is, hope crept back into my life quietly, wearing Ryan's smile and his steady way of listening. We ran into each other again a week later, not by accident this time, at the same bar, both pretending coincidence. From there, things unfolded slowly, intentionally, like we were both aware how fragile this was. We took walks along the lake even when the wind burned our faces. We shared fries at a late-night diner, legs brushing under the table, talking about childhood dreams and adult disappointments. Ryan never rushed me, never tried to impress me with grand gestures. He asked questions and waited for real answers. One night, sitting in my car outside my building, engine off, snow falling again, I told him about the man who left. I told him how it changed me, how it taught me to expect absence. He didn't interrupt, didn't try to fix it, just listened with an intensity that made me feel seen instead of pitied. When I finished, my voice shaking, he said, "That wasn't a reflection of your worth." It was such a simple sentence, but it cracked something open inside me. I started to feel things again. Not all good, but all real. There were moments of fear, moments where I pulled back, waiting for the familiar drop. Ryan noticed, always noticed, and instead of leaving, he stayed. He showed up when he said he would. He texted good morning and meant it. He held my hand like it mattered. Then one night, months in, the fear finally caught up to me. We were at his place, a modest apartment filled with books and framed photos of former students, and something about the intimacy overwhelmed me. I pulled away, tears rising without warning, and said, "I don't know if I can do this." Ryan's face softened, not hurt, not angry. He said, "I'm not asking you to promise forever. I'm just asking you to be here now." That was the moment I realized love didn't have to be a leap off a cliff. Sometimes it was just standing still and choosing not to run. I stayed. Spring came, and with it, a version of myself I barely recognized. I laughed easier, slept better, dreamed again. Ryan and I built something real, not perfect, but honest. The night he told me he loved me, we were sitting on my couch, takeout containers on the floor, rain tapping the windows. He said it without drama, without expectation, just truth. I felt it in my bones before I said it back. Now, when I think about that girl walking home in the snow, convinced love was behind her, I want to reach back and tell her something. I want to tell her that numbness isn't the end of the story, that sometimes love finds you when you've stopped searching, when you finally made peace with being alone. I wasn't looking for love, but it found me anyway, and it changed my entire life by reminding me how to feel again.